Hello everyone, my name is Parnika Singh and this is my final video discussion post for The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. So one of my favorite quotes from this section of the book is, "I just don't understand life, Sulk Nora. You don't have to understand life, you just have to live it," on page 218. I really love this quote because it's such an important reminder, especially in today's world where social media can make it feel like there's a right way to live. We're constantly bombarded with other people's highlight reels, and it can really create pressures to have our lives figured out and to make the perfect choices or to always be working towards some grand goal. But in reality, there is no single right way to live, and life is really meant to be experienced and not overanalyzed. And I think this quote is a perfect reminder that one shouldn't get caught up on whether they're doing the right things, but instead focus on the actual day-to-day actions of living, trying new things, making mistakes, learning, and growing through the whole process. Another quote that really stood out to me was, "We only know what we perceive. Everything we experience is ultimately our perception of it. It's not what you look at that matters, it's what you see," on page 219. And for me, this quote really emphasizes the power of perspective. Two people can go through the exact same situation, but their experiences can be completely different based on how they interpret it. And this really resonates with me because I've seen how mindset can really affect everything I do, whether it's viewing failure as a lesson rather than a setback, or even just shifting focus from what's missing to what's already there. And this quote is really a great reminder that reality isn't just what happens to us, but it's also shaped by how we choose to see it and react to it. As for my personal connections, one moment in the book that really resonated with me was when Nora wonders what had forced Mr. Banerjee to go to the care home he'd been determined not to go to. She was the only difference between the two Mr. Banerjees, but what was that difference? What had she done? Set up an online shop? Pick up his prescription a few times? "Never underestimate the big importance of small things," Miss Elm had said. "You must always remember that," on page 254. And this moment really struck me because it really shows how the smallest gestures can have a profound impact on someone's life. And it really reminded me of the time when I helped a novice member of my rocketry team with some small details. At the first time I did it, it didn't really seem like a big deal. I was just answering a couple questions they had and guiding through some of the things that I was well familiar with. But later, they told me that my help made a huge difference to them and their confidence overall because they were previously considering quitting the team. But thanks to my help and guidance, they felt like they could actually succeed on it. And they've been a member for the past 3 years. So this really made me realize that sometimes we don't even recognize the impact we have on others, and that's why it's also so important to be kind and supportive on your everyday moments because you never know how it'll affect someone. Another part of the book that stood out to me was when Joe tells Nora, "Before I was with Ewan, I was so dumb about mental health. I thought panic attacks were big nothing. You know, mind over matter, man up, sis. But then, when Ewan started having them, I understood how real they are," on page 245. And I connected with this because for a long time, I also didn't fully understand how debilitating anxiety could be until I saw a close friend go through it. Before, I had the mindset that stress and anxiety were obviously horrible, but through self discipline, one could overcome them. But watching my friend struggle, even though she was such an amazing and hardworking person, made me realize how overwhelming and real anxiety is. Seeing their experience really changed my perspective and made me much more open and empathetic. So, this passage in the book really resonated with me because it shows how direct experience or seeing something up close can really shift the way we understand that something. And finally, if I were to enter the Midnight Library, I think mine would take the form of a kitchen filled with different dishes. Each dish would act like a portal where taking a single bite would transport me into an alternate life, similar to the function of the books, obviously, in Nora's library. Cooking has always been a huge part of my life. I discovered my love for it when I was younger, helping my grandmother in the kitchen, and she was always so kind and patient, letting me mix ingredients, taste test, and really learning through experience. If I burned something, she wouldn't get mad, we'd just make it again. And she was always someone I could talk to, and she always gave me advice that really felt warm and understanding. So because of all these reasons, I think my Miss Elm figure would be my grandmother, guiding me through my different life possibilities just as she guided me in this kitchen, in her kitchen. So overall, I loved reading The Midnight Library as it had some incredibly profound lessons. This class has been super enjoyable. I've loved all the books we've read, and yeah, thank you so much for listening to my discussion post.